Hello everyone and welcome to the Benefactor at Chaotic Neutral Games. I'm Simon, your DM for tonight, as we join Kate, Felicia, Nick, Corinne and Rodrigo with their adventures in Illyria. Don't forget that you can help or indeed hinder by using your channel points in the game. Check out the options in the chat bar below. You can also join the chaos by clicking the Discord link in the channel notes, or support us in what we do by becoming a subscriber. So let's rejoin the players as they play episode 97 of the Benefactor.
do this.
And welcome back. And hello to our players.
Hello.
Hello.
I was just
Greetings.
explaining to them all that I am absolutely knackered, as you probably would see from my complaining in the Discord. How's the rest of you? How are you doing?
Very okay.
Good. All right.
Yes, I live. That is progress.
I have a new dress.
There we go.
No,
I
else
was
matters.
I internally I have like a counter going down of like seconds until Corinne mentions dress.
Mm-hmm.
It's
She got the dress, and then she peer pressured me into ordering a new winter coat, which I did.
Good.
Well, it
good.
was because you mentioned like your winter coats, like, oh yeah, we should check those dresses again now when I've lost a ton of weight. I'm like, oh yeah, now I will actually like fit the one that I like. Also, hi Scrumpius. And then I had a look at it. And I was like, oh, they got new things in, and this one is really pretty. I'll get it. And then I got it, and I told Felicia to go get her thing.
That's just me with board games.
Yeah.
Just from the amount
For
of
one
time
hand,
she's
I am
been
very
smiling.
happy.
Yeah.
Because I've needed to get a new coat for like, I don't know, 5 years.
Not quite 5 years, but like a few years, yes.
Whatever.
Yes.
Yeah. Is I have a new dress going to be the next I died recently? Probably yes, but it shows that she's getting her money's worth out of it just on the amount of grins and little twirls and looking down at herself and kind of doing little happy kind of things. She's already got her money's worth, so you know that's no problem at all there. Very pleased. And
besides, Corinne has an expendable income, unlike most of us.
Yeah.
It's only thanks to Simon, but yes.
I'm wonderful.
Yes.
I did have a bit of a high yesterday. I mentioned this in the Discord because yesterday was the first time I played Deep Rock Galactic, and in I think nearly 2 years or something. A lot of things have changed.
About a year. You were playing a year ago.
I was able to run it, but it wasn't very good. Now I can run it and see everything in its glory. And Rodrigo and I didn't fuck up a single mission, which was really cool. And Rodrigo got to play arsonist basically.
I like burning things.
Yeah, burning things was definitely a feature of the night, so that was good.
Yeah.
Occasionally me, but not that often, so that was good.
On that lovely segue, we have a lot of things we need to burn today. An entire village worth of things we need to burn today.
Let's find out if we actually need to burn them.
It's a maybe, but it's leaning heavily towards the torch this entire place down.
Okay, well,
these like
60 to
really
40%.
hedge fuckers.
How can
60 to 40%.
How can I resist a segue like that? Last session, you guys started investigating this strange village. So let me go through the points again. This village is built around a set of ruins, and some of the stone buildings that are there, they've rebuilt for their own purposes. So some people live in good, sturdy stone houses, whereas the norm around here is to have kind of log houses or wooden houses or whatever. It seems to be off the beaten track. And when you first met them, they're bringing in a harvest, and they started talking about each other, revealing that they all had nicknames. Things like Taverner Bell and Bailiff Cloud. As this went along, you heard some more of the names, and there was a suggestion that they may be Tabaxi names in some way, even though this is a mixture of all different races. You investigated a bit more. The main group went through the village, talked to Taverner Bell. They got taken directly to Bailiff Cloud. Meanwhile, your Tabaxi started sneaking around, and she saw some fruit pickers, and she overheard a very interesting conversation from a bunch of slaughter slaughterman, and then eventually caught back up with the rest of the party, still invisible. Went into the temple they have there, saw that they had the Dawn Gods
group chat.
Using the group chat that you have from your badges, you started investigating the place. You saw that the Dawn Gods were in slightly the wrong order. That most of them were quite new. There was something strange going on in the sermon itself. So it was a daytime sermon, and you did see that there was one person who was having a vigil and staring at a bowl. You don't know what's in the bowl. Actually, no. You went close enough to find out there was nothing in the bowl. And a second person at the front is mixing up potions. You found out that there is a secret entrance, or at least an entrance, which is basically just it's a dropped floor. So there's going to be a mechanism somewhere that drops the floor into an area below the temple. And you met Bailiff Cloud, who started with this this sermon of cooperation and being better than we are, and given examples of cooperation from the gods. Then Farewell came in. He, with open arms, welcomed Farewell to come and preach as well. Farewell, as part of his preaching, cast a zone of truth, which they all relented on, and started to talk, knowing full well that the words, at least, are true, even if they omitted something. Carrying on from this, you guys did a few different things to take a look at the area around you. Some of you used detect magic, gaining some of the schools. You realized that the vigil was a magic ritual, that there was some sort of arcane preparations being done by the alchemist. And then finally, you saw the you saw nothing, but Eclipse sneaked out of the temple, snuck around the side, and went to a small mausoleum around the side.
Mausoleum, you're pronouncing it wrong.
Mausoleum, yes, mausoleum. Whilst looking in on this fairly small tomb, she saw that an elf was sat cross-legged, in contemplation next to a sickly-looking person on one of the tombs, just lying on top of the slab. They walked up. The person coughed up a small tentacled creature with little backwards hooks and a lot of blood, and said to look after it in some way. The elf accepted the small tentacled creature into its hands, and then their back arching, the person on the slab, who was looking quite sickly, transformed into a Goliath. Once that had finished, the person, clearly exhausted by the transformation, accepted the little creature back and swallowed it once again.
Yeah.
And that's where we left off.
So, I question. Eclipse already relayed this to us through the quote-unquote group chat, right?
I haven't relayed it yet, no.
Okay.
Yeah. So, because this literally just happened, and I think she wants to find out more before she lets loose on you guys just torching down the entire village. Because, she's smart enough.
That might happen.
Yes, because she is smart enough to know that that will happen if she says this.
Mm-hmm.
She's big in communication, but she's also probably not gonna say this until she knows that, like, we need to torch down the entire village.
Eclipse showing restraint. Did I give you a tentacle?
So yes, seeing this very weird thing, she wants to observe what happens next with these two goons.
Okay. As you watch, the Goliath is clearly exhausted. The strong, vibrant-looking frame, muscular, kind of slides off the slab, being bolstered by the elf. And I said before, the elf doesn't look that frail. And I mean, this elf was pretty buff for an elf.
Yeah. I think they also said sister to the Goliath and brother to the elf.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there might be some.
I did say that the Goliath had tresses of kind of braided hairs, cornrowed braids going down the back. So yes, there's a female Goliath. So the elf helps the Goliath down, and the Goliath stumbles, catching herself on the opposite tomb, and goes, "How long till the feast? I'm gonna need to regain my strength. The body's better, but it's getting hard to resist." The elf goes, "Well, 2 birds, 1 stone, yeah? Let's eat what little you need to keep yourself going to the feast, but remember, every bite that you have now is going to make it harder come the ritual." The Goliath nods knowingly and says, "I was told we have visitors." Yes. Pilgrims. It's fine. If necessary, we'll have part of the feast up top and include them in it. Tell them it's like a harvest festival. We've already spun the line that there's too much food, that we've been blessed by the gods. Hopefully they'll start drawing lines where there are none, and they'll start thinking that their pilgrimage is blessed as well. Get them to just leave happy, you know? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, who am I? I didn't read the notes. Let's see, hang on, I've got it here. Yes, here we are. I've got the notes. Greta Ironarm. Were they trying to get the most Goliath name they could find? Is Greta a Goliath name? I don't know, it'll work. No one's going to question it. Just say your mother was human or something like that. It should work. Oh, okay, so Greta, what was it? Ironarm. Okay, Greta Ironarm. Good. Okay. Brushes herself down. Oh, God, look at these clothes. I'm going to need to change those. Greta Ironarm. Pleased to meet you. Yeah, no, that seems to work. Puts their hand on their stomach. Feels kind of swimmy for a second and kind of studies themselves and goes, "How are you doing, Bruce?" And closes her eyes. Conversation goes on, talking about inane stuff, things that they brought in. And this lasts for about 40 seconds. At which point there's a now. And there's a glazing over of the Goliath's eyes. These 2 orbs just suddenly seeming just a little too far away. Breeze? Yes, we are Breeze. We are one again. We are ready. I can stave off the hunger for now. But the ritual needs to happen. We don't want him taking control again. The elf goes, no, of course. you're happy. You're together again. Yes. We are well. Thank you. The Goliath looks at the clothes. I guess I need to get changed. And starting to walk towards the door, the elf goes, Goliath, and you watch as the gait of this person goes from what you would expect for a human to a more clumping step of a Goliath. Your deception is enough, Eclipse, that you can tell when someone's stamping their feet just a little too hard to make them seem heavier than they are. The Goliath walks past you, doesn't pay any attention to you at all.
Well, I'm invisible, so...
And keeps going.
Right, okay. Weird fucking stuff. Okay. Yes.
If you stick around for just a few seconds more...
Oh, of course I will. Like,
the elf goes, what do you think, Sunlight? Yes. I think so too. And then the elf leaves as well.
The actual... Okay.
So the parasites are the tabaxi.
The parasites of the soul.
Probably.
They actually said that. Look after my soul when he.
Yeah, so they are souls.
But we don't know that. But yeah.
Oh, yes. Eclipse gonna need to sit you guys down before she tells this.
I can't do anything without any more information. I've got things I can do, but I can't do anything until I've got more info.
I mean, Eclipse is gonna tell you guys, but like once we're in a place where she can sit you down and know that you guys are not gonna go and torch everything immediately.
You don't know that. You're never gonna know
torches?
that.
I have hands.
Yeah.
She might. She's gonna send some messages to. She's just gonna go DM some messages to Farewell specifically, be like, "There's some super weird stuff going on, Farewell."
Sorry. quick question, actually. Did I? There was a reason why. Hold on. There was a reason why Eowyn let go of Eclipse.
Yeah, I asked you to because again, Aiden has seen villages like this or heard about villages like this for a while.
Yeah.
What he's trying to avoid is having all of us inside the church and then have the church surrounded.
Yes. So Eclipse. So Eowyn went out and was looking around, but she wouldn't have then.
Yeah, I've got on my notes that
attached
Eowyn is sat on the top of the entrance to the temple. So from her perspective, she of course doesn't see Eclipse at all now because she isn't attached to her. But she does see a Goliath woman in clothes that are slightly too small for it, walking out, and then an elf.
So she may have relayed that to me of like, oh, something's happening. Some people just walked out of this small building. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
That's fair. That'd be the amount of data that you'd have.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
It goes gonna go to, like do Farewell and be like, okay, so weird stuff. There is I think there are like 2 people inside the bodies, and like we have one part being a tabaxi part and another one being I have no idea. I just saw someone change their body completely. There might be some like Archie self going on or some this guy's self where they changed, because I saw a human turn into a Goliath and then and they called then they puked up this thing which was they called their soul, which was held away from them while they changed body, as in their body turned into a Goliath from a human, and then they swallowed this thing again, and then they said that they got breeze inside them, so like the tabaxi breeze, and things are super weird. Farewell Don't tell the others. They're gonna burn it down.
Okay. Let's start at the beginning. So, are we talking an actual physical creature or a more like a ghostly possession?
Was it physical, Simon, or was it ghostly?
Physical. Everything was physical.
It was physical. It wasn't ghostly. It was physical.
So, potential parasite. Okay. Fair enough. There's a fair few of those. Okay. So, we don't need to panic. However, we certainly don't need to burn the place down. We don't want to burn anything that they said of interest about motivations or anything of the like.
They were talking about the feast that I think they're having tonight. That is to do. I'm wondering if there has to do anything with gluttony, probably, or maybe because they're holding something back. It might be wrath.
Holding. What do you mean by holding something back?
They said that, as you were saying, did you relate a bit about them doing a thing to like prevent their sin or whatever?
Well, he said it out loud and you were in the room, so I assume you heard that at the time, because that happened before you left, so I'm working on you know that.
Yeah. Because they said they didn't want him, whoever him is, to be in control again. Which I wonder if it's one of the ones that we haven't had yet. So it might be like wrath, or with all their food, if it's to like have gluttony, being sated by eating all of the things at the feast, or if it's it could. I mean, the one I'm pretty sure it's not. It's lust, but it could be potentially sloth, a bit less so. Then there's greed, obviously, but if it's holding something back, it might be wrath.
It could still be gluttony.
It could still be gluttony, yeah.
Holding them back from consuming everywhere, sacred duties and all that. They do like to hang around. Okay, bear with me 1 second. I need to ask a question. And I focus back on the room for a second, and I turn to Bailey Cloud, and I go, the food you've been collecting. I can see that you're sort of preparing it all. Can I ask what you're doing with it? Because there's many places that could really do with a meal right now, and I was wondering if you maybe could share.
He looks around, and there's a look of concern on his face, and he says, well, as part of our religious ceremony that we have here, we do have a ritual that holds back sin, that requires us to imbibe a certain amount of food.
The village makers of puberty.
And we were preparing a feast. I'm not gonna lie to you. There's
like you can.
I don't say. None of us can say that.
I don't say that, obviously.
He's like, he kind of knows that he can't lie to you, and he says
he's aware that he's under that.
And so when he says it, he does say it pointedly. I'm not going to lie to you. Almost like he's reassuring you when he says that. There is a feast, and you are right. You are right. We could maybe use some of our talents here in making good, wholesome crops to benefit others. In fact, and he looks around at his congregation, I think that might be the next step. What do you think, brothers, sisters? What do you think? I think that's the right way. Is that the right way? Is that how we look at this now? Is this we've had to look internally so much, but is that the way forward?
I always find that a problem shared, at least amongst brothers of the cloth or sisters of friendship, that it makes solving whatever problems a lot easier. And you'll forgive me, I know a lot of rituals, a lot of spells. I like to think of myself as a pretty dab hand at what I do, and I cannot think of one that absolves sin. It's such a broad base that if we could, well...
What time of day is
you
it,
and I
Simon, by the
be-
way? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity.
it's just after lunchtime. It's
Okay.
about 2 p.m.
Okay, thank you.
He looks at you and says, absolve. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, a ritual that absolves you of sin is, you're right. It doesn't really exist, does it?
No.
I guess what this does is, you know how sin comes for us all. It can be kindled in the deepest recesses of ourself. This ritual is like, if that sin was a raging fire, you would try to pour water around the edge, manage it, rein it in so you can try to work on it.
No, actually, Brother Bailey, I wouldn't. I would use the earth, and I would smother it. For if
Maybe
the
so.
fire was as dangerous as you claim, then action is better than nothing, and I think it's about time that maybe you and I, alone, with my friends, we speak plainly and in detail. You look concerned, and someone that is doing such good work shouldn't be so worried.
I'm afraid it's in the nature of our existence here to always be concerned, to always be ready to, well, not ready to, but ready for the possibility that we could roll back into sin at any time. You're right in that there is a secret we all share here on Warford. We came here a long time ago, and we built this community in some way, not necessarily in duplicity or deception, more invoking our right to privacy. We won't be unkind or unpleasant or rude to you, but when you come in asking questions like you have, you come at a day where we are testing ourselves and we are doing what we can to keep ourselves going, as we have done for generations, an even keel. Sin to you, yes, you know a lot more about it, I'm sure, but we have had it as part of our existence for a long time. We, in some cases, have just been keeping our heads above the water. We've been looking to just get to tomorrow, get to next week, get to the end of the year, to make sure that people aren't inconvenienced by us or target us unfairly, I guess. Maybe fairly, we're not sure. I guess we don't want to be targeted fairly or unfairly. We want to have time to be our best self before we get judged by anybody.
You'll forgive me if I find parts of that hard to believe, considering the condition of your fields, the wealth of your larders, the grain that goes through your mills, and the health of your people. Albeit, I accept there may be more that's going on here, but Bailey, we truly are not people here to do you harm. It may be that through a combination of timing, our dumb luck, and the fate of the divines themselves, we have come at a time where you need us the most.
I sincerely hope that is the latter. But yes, you're right. He walks up to what is a calendula plant, a plant that's very commonly grown inside due to its many properties. And he says, but you are right. I guess if we carried on posing as a bunch of druids, you wouldn't ask that question. But then we had the problem that a bunch of, genuine druids came in one day and, well, they nearly found us out. He reaches his hand over the calendula, puts his finger out, and scratches with a fingernail down down the palm of his hand.
I've gone back in by now, by the way. There's no reason for me to hang out. So I've gone in.
He scratches down, and it just bleeds a little bit. He squeezes his hand, and a drop drops from his fist into the small pot of calendula. And right in front of you, it starts to grow visibly in front of your eyes for about a minute. It doesn't grow tremendously, but enough to see.
What's
Impressive.
that? Says
And there's this
disembodied voice.
disembodied voice in the back.
I think if you reveal yourself with sound, the
No,
spell breaks.
it's only if I use a attack or a spell.
Yep.
We would definitely know roughly where you are, though. So as a person,
just
like you hear
move.
someone, you would look in the direction at least.
Okay.
I'd say from like the where Cora is. I think it's
He answers the question without even paying attention to who's asked it. He says, when we were first created, manifested, we didn't have these abilities. In fact, it's only when we got forced to change our nature that we realized that we could be part of something else, that we could create, that we could interact with the world around us in ways that we never thought possible. We're not druids. We're not clerics. Brothers and sisters, I think it's time
Before
that you went
he
out
continues
and
saying that, Aiden
Don't
speaks
shoot him.
up and
Don't
goes,
shoot him. Don't shoot him.
I say, I just have a quick question. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. I just need to quickly ask you. Where are the children?
the
And
congregation.
I'm staring him down.
The congregation looks at him, and he says, "I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Please go forth and worry not about this. Tell the others the plan has changed. We're going to have to come clean to these ones. There are no children, sir. There never have been."
I'll roll insight on that.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
going to join. It's not
Nick
that I
knows
don't believe him.
he's telling the truth.
Yes.
Yeah, I forgot Son of Truth was, but yeah, there's still like.
Yeah, go for it.
I'm not necessarily looking for the
I feel
truth.
it. 11.
What I'm looking for personally is more. Is there any sort of sense of sadness, like they've been caught in this loop forever, or was there a point where they were real people and this is what they've eventually become, or have they always been this way?
Little column A and little column B.
Okay. I was going to say, because I rolled way under my passive there. so for once, I rolled like shit. So he's not right.
You'll have to excuse me, but I find that hard to believe.
He's
No
in a set
children?
of truth glory.
He is inside of Son of Truth. It's true.
Eclipse, I think you
If you're
can
gonna
drop
speak,
the...
you might as well just come out.
Yeah, you don't need to hide anymore, Eclipse.
Fine.
You'll
And I
forgive
dropped
us.
invisibility and
You'll forgive us, Bailey.
You were closer
Um,
than I thought. Okay.
You were
Can
being
you
a little bit...
explain why all of you have a tabaxi names. Because it said the tabaxi, that's kind of weird.
The rest of you here, and you hear,
There we go.
"You're a tabaxi, and not
There we go.
one of the ones that hide themselves."
She
In
was
Tabaxi-
literally invisible.
Yeah.
Until
It's
now,
old.
but-
It's really old. The accent you don't recognize.
And I will respond in tabaxi because obviously.
That's right.
And I say, well, yes. So she will say, yes, yes, I'm from the Tabaxi Naru tribe. I've come here because I am on
When
the
you
path.
say Naru, there's a sudden kind of like, almost like Bailey Cloud has been kicked in the stomach. And he does, in the kind of pregnant woman putting her hand on the stomach because the baby's just kicked, he puts his hand on his stomach as a gesture of kind of self-reassurance.
Like,
Are these your mortal enemies, Owen?
He cracks back into common and says, is it fate? Chance? Do the gods play with this fate of ours? Please come, take a seat. I'll tell you what I can.
Trying to teach people to
Now I've
back
got the
so
Meow
you
Mix
do.
song stuck in my head. Thank you very
Deeper
much. Right.
This is a grown-up D&D game for grown-up people.
It's not. It's never been that. Come on.
You notice that the alchemist is still, although with a look of concern on his face, the alchemist is still mixing up the elixirs. The vigilant is still looking into the bowl. And Bailiff Cloud gestures to the front pews, and he himself just sits down with his back against the lectern.
Okay. So, can you tell me why you speak ancient Tabaxi?
I don't. Cloud does. So I guess my current name is Bailiff Amos Bradley.
Yes.
That's this. And he gestures to himself. That's the face you see me wearing. That's the voice that you hear me say. This is how I walk, how I move.
Did Bailiff give it willingly?
Amos Bradley.
Yeah, sorry, Amos Bradley. Did he give it willingly?
No, he did not.
I worried about that.
Strike one.
I took it from him centuries ago. I only remembered his face when I took it recently. We call each other by
yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
our Tabaxi hosts. But this is a longer story than you bargained for. But I'll tell it all the same. Tell me, have you heard of the Heart of Juradan?
Oh no!
I've been waiting. I've been fucking waiting.
There is a collective.
Do we all just roll our eyes? I'm just gonna like stare at Eclipse, being like,
Only my entire life.
Yeah, everybody else is just like, oh fuck.
The mixture of reactions kind of confuses him as he glances back and forth to you all. The Tabaxi there, he goes, reacting to Eclipse's thing on. You, how did the gods send you in some way? Did your cleric here guide you to this place?
No, just a lot of investigation. Just a lot of investigation.
And
You didn't help.
she
with the
had a
investigation,
map.
but-
She has a freaking map.
Yes, I have a map. This is all my work, not to you with
oh, I'm
yours.
sorry. I'll remember the next time you're lying dead on the floor not to resurrect you. Then.
Before you two start exchanging research notes, I do have some very important questions to ask.
No, shut up, Aidan. You're not talking.
He's gonna shoot you.
Yeah,
I will if it's needed.
Despite the fact that is the Eclipse thing to do, Rodrigo, go on.
Are all of your hosts willing?
let's get some definitions here first.
Were all of your hosts willing, yes or no?
Well, you need definitions. Seems very complicated.
They're not my hosts, they're my victims.
Right. Were your
I
victims
am the
willing,
host.
yes or no?
I am the
By
host.
definition, victim.
The tabaxi is the one I'm hosting.
Right.
And the appearance that I'm taking at the moment are my victims from long ago.
Yeah, I figured
We're-
as much.
And this, everyone's victims, were they willing? Were the thing that they decided to subject themselves to, or was it something taken by force? Yes or no?
By force.
Thousands of years ago.
Not
This is
necessarily.
ancient history.
For some, at least hundreds. For some, thousands.
How many
Why?
lives have you taken like this?
Time is long, my friend. I've lost count.
I think we need more of the story here, Aiden. Before you do anything, we need more of the why.
Let's get
and the
everything
when
he
and the
knows about the
how.
heart of Jordan, and then we can see what we do, because otherwise Eclipse is gonna sulk for months.
We came
Yes.
here for the heart of Jordan. That's why we're here. So let's talk to the
I
people
know, but
who
I
know
also
about
have
it.
an obligation to fulfill.
You have not found out why this has happened. You don't know their victims, but you don't know if they did anything.
I
to
don't
you.
care why he just admitted that lives were reaped for them to continue their own existence. They're no different for
Yes,
than a
and
lich
we
king.
have
But we
killed
don't
many
yet
people.
know
We
why.
have killed many people. To
Okay,
keep
I
us
actually
alive.
need to. I feel like I'm doing a very bad job this in roleplay, so I kind of explained this out of. It's
Yeah.
not the fact. What Aiden is concerned about is that mortal lives were used as basically batteries to fulfill someone's own continued existence. It's not the fact that they have killed; it's the fact that they have basically stolen someone else's lives to continue their own. It's basically lichdom by another name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we
I
just-
place my hand on Eclipse's shoulder, and I lean down and I whisper into her ear. I go, I'm sure you're aware that you know that my order compels me to make sure
Like for
that these
Aiden, this
will
is
pass on.
completely immoral. The wise.
I'm on board with you, dude. I'm on
Yeah.
board with you.
Yeah.
My order compels me to pass these people on by force if I must, but I will let you talk to them. You know this better than I do. You know about the heart. This is your expertise, and I will be guided by your hand.
Will not fight you.
No, I'm not speaking. I'm whispering to Eclipse.
I know.
Yeah.
But somehow he can, and he
Yeah.
says, "I'll not fight."
Yeah.
None
So
of
I will wait,
Hmm.
and I will
Good.
bide my time. But I do agree with Aiden. And then I go and I sit in one of the back pews, and I just watch.
We're dealing with ancient magic here. This is not something you will find anywhere else. So please tell me, what is your story? Are you like the ancient god of Jordan? And then you are.
I was manifested, I guess, somewhere in hell. I came into being hungering for souls of sinners. At first it was about playing the games that you have in hell. I was a small imp. I would work for those who are more powerful than me. And as the sinners, their souls, through bargains, through other means, would come into hell, I would take my sustenance, gain what power I needed to from the souls of the sinners. But I became, as everybody does down there, greedy. Though we have our rules, Asmodeus himself makes sure of that. Even within the rules, we are ambitious. doesn't begin to cover it. And I wanted more. I wanted to rise, become powerful. I watched Goristro walking across the plain near where my master had his territory. And I could just think with enough power, I would raise to be as great as they. Apex hunters of my kind. I knew nothing else. I was, by definition, evil. No way of redeeming myself in any way. So I thought. I learned a lot in the last few hundred years. When the corruption of Jorodan was taking place, when she ensnared his senses.
You're speaking about Lilith, is it? Let me check. Gotta check my notes.
I like the idea that she actually pull out like a bunch
Yeah,
of
that is what Eclipse is doing.
Yeah, I'm going to say that's in canon.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Hold on. She opens her bag of holding and then a bunch of papers start flying out.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's not like a book like anybody else would have. It is quite literally single sheets of paper that Eclipse is going, not this one, not this one, not this one,
Including
not this one,
napkins or toilet paper that she just wrote on when it was the thing that was available.
Occasionally a piece of like clothing that she
Yeah.
just like took off the floor.
It's the back of a receipt. It's like a box that like foods come in.
You know, you guys are talking basically about my mother, and it's terrifying. I can give her all the notebooks in the world; she'll still use scraps of paper. So,
So you're talking about Lilith, the elven lover, a high elf that was with.
Lilith was a joke. She loved the fact that she used that name. We know her as Kanatava. She was one of us.
Was she a devil then?
Succubus.
Yeah, succubus. Devil type. Yeah. Yes.
It took a lot of power, a lot of deals, a lot of investment from those below to get it to the point where clerics could not determine her nature. She went through years upon years of transformation and transfiguration to be able to pass and get into the inner circle.
And then she filled it with you guys.
We were spies for the most part. We were part of the plan to turn Jorodan's minor members in the plan to turn Jorodan's head. The intention was that Lilith, as you know her, was going to try to breed with him. The resulting offspring would have been more powerful than Jorodan himself. More successful.
Tabaxi devil tiefling?
Hell has its ways. She would have absorbed enough of his essence and then spawned. The resulting creature, like us at the time, would be able to take on any form, so long as we absorb the souls. We were just following our orders, keeping an eye on those who posed a threat to her mission. We knew little about what went on in the palace. Most of us just key positions in the family. We were wives, mothers, fathers, children. Those that we could take the forms of through fair means or foul. And once we did, we were able to be in place should Lilith, as you call her,
Was her
be
actual name?
exposed. Kanatava.
How do you
I
spell
believe she
that?
hasn't noticed yet, Rodrigo.
Does that name ring a bell with me? I'll let you spell it. It's fine.
Yeah, CARNI
N-I-T-A-V-A.
TAVA.
And yes, I have noticed the kitty. I did say kitty,
Yeah.
but
She
I'm also listening
definitely
to Simon.
noticed because I was wondering if she was paying attention
I was
to all
trying.
that
I was
being
trying
said.
her not to notice because this was like a very important moment. But
Yeah.
Nico has his ways.
Is this the name of a devil I may know? Or
No.
heard of, Simon?
No, you've never heard of it. You've never heard of
have,
it.
have I?
No.
Okay.
Can't tell that she's an
Cool.
ancient, because this is like thousands of years ago we're talking about.
Or she just never was very popular where I was popular where my religious line comes from.
Yeah.
What we didn't count for was Kanatawa changing the plan.
Oh. What did she
We were
do?
getting close.
Yeah.
He was taking the elixirs to stop his headaches, provided by us, of course. He was starting to take part in rituals because he saw enemies around every corner. His paranoia, his fear. We were doing well. And then Kanatawa stopped talking to us. And by us, I mean the pit. She broke ranks. Something that she wanted. And she started playing Jordan on her own. Without us. We relayed the orders from our masters, and she would smile and send us on our way. Our masters got angry. And some of our agents, not us, we were too weak, were sent to bring Kanatawa back down into the pit for a disciplinary, let's call it. We, on the other hand, had gained a lot of power. Most of Jordan's reign, we were following a soldier here, a trader there, a squire, enough to get close enough to the great man. And we had become very good at taking the souls that he left in his way. Jordan, though a more benevolent conquistador, was a conquistador nonetheless.
Yes.
He took thousands upon thousands of lives. And on his battlefields, and those who were displaced by him when they refused his rule, he would let them leave in peace. But they would be bitter. They would plot revenge. The sin in their hearts grew and grew. Easy pickings for us. And our
Offer
powers
them a
grew.
deal and they go off.
When the judgment of Jordan happened, and I'm afraid I know little about that, because we were judged at the same time. The city disappearing around us being left in some strange wilderness. And then we ourselves got punished. Can you imagine it? Being punished by hell when you yourself are a devil. Apparently, we also had lost sight of our orders. I don't remember much of it, but I remember gorging on the souls. Some pit fiend. Didn't know him from Adam. Claimed us. Tore our bonds from our master. And rather than enslaving us, getting us to perform his machinations, he held us in punishment. At the time, we were in the process of trying to feed off anyone. There were plenty of pickings. Tabaxi running all over the place. But each of us cleaved to one. When he went and cursed us, he was also devouring the souls of all around us. And so we thought we would deny him, the gluttonous brute that he was. And so we denied him by taking the souls and doing something that we had never done before. We protected them.
Oh.
In a way that, well, it wasn't pleasant. They were already dying. The souls couldn't go off to the gods. They were in the aura of his effect. Every soul there, innocent, guilty, was going to be drawn down into the pit, into his waiting maw. So each of us took hold and held it to our breast. Our forms mutated and split. We each connected with each other in a moment of inspiration, tore out our hearts, and gave it to the soul. Each of the souls inside us, and he puts his hand on his stomach, has been protected ever since. They lie dormant, but they are able to give us information. We don't devour them. Ironic, being that that's where we keep them. And when we feed, they feed. It's been a strange existence for them, but in some ways rewarding. They grew up in troubled times under Jordan, whereas here in this peaceful place, where one of the generals lies in his rest.
Looking for that one.
We give them a peaceful place under the sun. And we ourselves have learnt to grow with them. As they're finding peace for themselves, we are walking with them hand in hand, hoping to find that peace ourselves.
Is the pit fiend still around here?
He looks beneath his feet and says, yes. There's one soul.
That's what we're
that we are-
fighting then.
That's something I didn't think I'd get to fight today.
There is one soul. As we bind him with the souls that are in our frames, he keeps us from being able to travel, live our lives, make our own way. We stay here not only as hermits, pilgrims, call us what you will, but we're also prison guards.
Would you like an execution of your prisoner?
If only you were powerful enough. This creature
Have
is
you met Glory?
powerful.
I really want to hold up a sign that says, "Bitch, do you know us?" Just be sat in the background like, say a fucking what?
You're muted, Rodrigo.
I don't know what's going on with my mic. Hello. I think we already established that Glory is the BFG of this fucking group.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're muted,
she
Nick.
has like a spell count before she becomes near useless. Not near useless. She can still cantrip the fuck out. But yeah, it's she has got a lot of upfront damage that she can commit.
Okay, so you guys you were with Jordan. You helped Karnitava to corrupt Jordan. And you helped corrupt some like stragglers along the thing.
We were
who's-
citizens of Pride Mount
Yeah.
during the judgment. Pride Mount, never heard the name of before. And beneath us lies the general. We deny him. We deny the pit fiend the ability to devour the general's soul. What is left of it?
Who's the general?
The general. Let's see. That would be Honor.
Honor? Okay.
Honor of the Legions. One of Juradan's strongest fighters. Save Juradan himself, the prowess of this man in battle was enough to inspire warriors to go forth into great odds against them, and still win. He was in the middle of exposing Lilith Kanitava at the time of the judgment.
What's the judgment?
I don't know a great deal about it, but I know it came as a result of Juradan's own people and the gods themselves. They came together to cast Juradan into some form of prison, something that would stop others from being able to use the power that he possessed, something that the gods themselves were terrified about. They say that Juradan
belongs in a museum. Go on.
They say that Juradan had the mantle of kings. Not an object, a blessing. That when he set out into Vardencore, the gods gave him a holy mission. Divine right. The ability to rule.
Yes, he was a Tvalar or a Pelor, to my knowledge.
The All-Father gave him the mantle. The mantle is in him. It's part of him. It was part of his birth.
Is that the Heart of Juradan?
I don't know. I know the legend. That's why I led with the Heart of Juradan. I don't know what the Heart of Juradan is, other than it could just be his heart. But the Heart of Juradan legend is the most commonly known one, so that's why I led with it. I don't know anything about the heart. What I do know about is the mantle. He was born with the blessing of the All-Father. Not a small thing. The king of the gods, bestowing a crown upon Juradan's head that no one, not even Palor, I think, could take back off. That's why this is why hell came together. Normally we can't organize ourselves. They can't organize themselves into such an effort. This is possibly the first time that all of the lords of hell came together in common purpose, which is why the punishment on us was so severe when we failed.
Tell me.
They were denied Juradan. They were denied Kanitava.
Do you know of envy and pride?
Envy and pride. Yes, they're sins. What of them?
No. Do you know of the generals named Envy and Pride?
He looks at you and goes, there were no generals named Envy and Pride.
Tips, darling, I think we established that they took those names after they died.
Yeah. They gave up their original names for what they became. What they fell to.
What they felt they became.
Let's see. I do have the name of Envy somewhere.
You do? Yeah, we did figure that out.
Yes.
I think it's
more papers scattered around the room as Eclipsis digs through her bag of holding.
Yeah. Cloud goes, this must be part of the judgment. Part of the ritual that they found.
Thakos.
Yes,
excuse
I
your
know
language.
him.
A Gesundheit, yeah.
I know him. I remember him drinking in the taverns, telling of his stories. he wanted to promote his stories as loudly as Jordan's own. I remember him, yes.
Yes.
But he was not called envy or pride. But it was part of the judgment that they found the cornerstones of sin within Jordan's empire, that which was emitted by him himself. And
whenever I've been on the path, I don't know if you know what the path is, but the path is what we call the path to find the heart of Jordan. It's a prophecy within our culture, and I have been trying to follow that.
I've heard there is a path. Do you believe that we are on that path?
Well, I believe that I am on that path, and it has now led me to you. I have found out a bit more as I reach with every step. This is even more new information with you guys here. I found the names. Every time I found the ghost of a when I've gone to these places, I have found the remains or the ghost or something left behind of the general when I've gotten there, and they've asked me to name them. And their names have gone in the pattern of, so the first one is pride and the second one was envy. So honor right here, he is probably turned into something else, and seeing all this gone around here, I am assuming he's gluttony.
No, honor's not gluttony. Gluttony wasn't really a thing. Not widespread amongst Pride Mount. Only amongst us, amongst Kanatava, the devils within the city. We were feasting well beyond what we needed. We reveled in it.
So you guys are gluttony. The question is, what was...
They're
need to
starving
hear-
him, Eclipse.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're starving the pit lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have
We s-
taken his sin.
Greed.
We starve
Is
the
that
pit
not
lord. This is
greed?
true. We do it through a ritual sacrifice. But we don't eat for weeks. Then, of course, we have to fuel our bodies. We get weak. We become emaciated. We're strong for most of the time, thanks to our once infernal heritage. We have somewhat changed since. But now we sacrifice, suffer great hunger up until that point, to the point now where the hunger, we barely feel it at all. Then we simply cram in the nutrients, the power that we need, and store it. He stayed it for a short period of time. It's a difficult time for us. You saw that some of the parishioners that came in today, and they're worried that when they go through the feeding ritual, that they are going to slip and not be able to contribute to binding him with our will. That's why they were here. They were worried that their devilish instincts would come back. But I honestly believe they've become something new, something different, something better. Hundreds upon hundreds of years. We can't even take our old forms anymore.
So
Tell me one thing. Do you seek atonement for what you have done? What you were?
If we can, we would like atonement. If not, we would like to not be us when we die. There is a plan that has come from not only us, but the souls that we share our beings with now. Over the years, we have learned to combine with them in ways that we've never have before, not consuming them, but allowing ourselves to be co-consumed. When we join, we consume each other and become one. It's only when the body falters and the soul starts to die that we expel the soul, take death upon ourselves, something that is negotiable for a devil, and then reabsorb and rejoin. Whenever we call it leapfrog, with Cloud, I make sure the Cloud is safe before I take on the mortal change. The body dies, but there's always enough energy to restart it again. I take on one of the forms that I know I'm able to produce, and then I become a protection for Cloud once more. During that time, one of my brothers or sisters will hold Cloud and stop hell from seeing him.
I'm sorry that I've been snooping around, but I think I saw this process just happen with one of your...
Oh, Breeze.
Breeze, yeah.
Breeze was leapfrogging today.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Our decisions don't get any easier, do they? No matter
I
how
hate
far
my
we travel.
job.
You know what? I was thinking exactly the same thing.
So you guys are currently protecting these tabaxi souls. So you're protecting Cloud, at the moment. What's Cloud's full name, by the way?
Oh, Stares upon a cloud.
And Clips of the Moon, by the way.
Pleasure to meet you.
A question, if you don't mind. What would happen when the Pit Lord dies? Would the souls you're currently hosting be free to join the afterlife? Or would they belong to someone else down in hell?
The Pit Lord has tethers to each of the souls. It's those tethers that we stand in front of by either holding the soul or having one inside us. Typically, we have to meditate, draw our power to be able to protect two souls at once, which we only have to do for a scarce few minutes.
The problem is, Glory.
If we cut the ties with the Pit Lord, they'll be free.
And
When they
destroying
die-
the Pit Lord on this plane doesn't stop his claim to their souls. He simply rematerializes in the hells, but still has control of them.
Yes, I do know about that, Farewell.
That's the problem. You'd have to beat him twice.
I don't really fancy going to the hells anytime soon. I don't know about the rest of you. It's a bit hot. And
Yes.
I always wanted
we
to
not
see great-grandmother
know
Tezcatlipoca's birthplace, but that's for another day.
I really didn't want to know that
no,
your
no.
grandfather Dragon Daddy fucked a
La la
devil.
la 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 la. Okay. This is a weird one, but your rival has some.
Yes.
Could we not use
Give him
that
a
in
call?
some way? I mean, like, we'll do you a favor, you do us a favor. We'll kill him on
That
this
is
plane, you kill him on
such
that
a
plane.
bad idea.
Why?
I mean,
That is
we can make
Do you
it
want to
competition.
I
I
don't
don't kiss him faster.
Ever
I don't-
heard.
Why? I don't want to go to the
Damn it,
house.
I was writing as she was saying it as well.
We can make it a competition. Who kills him the fastest?
I mean, like, I
That's
don't
also a terrible idea.
Why is it terrible? Do you want to go to the hells?
No, but I do want to tear those pit fiends.
I don't want to go to I don't want to go to the hells. I also don't want to damn an entire village, though.
Exactly. So we kill
And
him here.
also, I don't want to make a deal with someone who will absolutely categorically gonna fuck us over in a way that we'll probably super regret.
I'm not saying do a deal. I'm saying
You just
like.
said make a deal.
No,
Well,
she
I'm
said
not talking about.
trick.
I'm not talking about making a deal with some pit fiend. I'm talking about her cousin or whatever.
Yeah,
who
well,
they're rivals,
Exactly.
but not rivals.
That's who
It's-
Aiden was referring to.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's who I was referring to.
So what? He's gonna screw us over anyway. That's his whole job is to screw us over. He's a rival.
Exactly.
Oh, so he's gonna set us on fire. Might as well set ourselves on fire for him.
When
Is
has
that
he
what
set
you're
us
saying?
on fire? He's done nothing. He sent us one demon once. We took care of it really
Yeah.
easily. It's a dance. We've already discussed this. It's a show.
I hate you
It's
all.
nothing.
I hate you all.
We could literally give him a way to prove himself
I
in
do
some way
need
and
to
get
send
another way.
him something good for him to fight soon.
I mean,
Like,
do you want to send him a
Him,
pit
the
roll?
pit fiend. He will fight him. Then he'll fight him again. He'll be fine. Boom.
Yeah.
I'm
But,
not
I mean-
saying we send Excellence a pit lord to fight. I'm
Why
just
not?
saying we need. I need to figure out something that will keep him occupied for a few days to figure out.
I don't know about
Bailiff
anybody
Cloud
else,
looks
but
at
I
you all,
vote.
and
I vote
suddenly
pit
is
fiend.
he's looking as if to say, "Who the fuck are these people?"
Yeah,
And he
we
kind
get
of
this a
goes,
lot.
it's not what we do anymore, but technically there would be a way if you knew where this rival was. And if you think he's powerful enough to be able to kill a pit fiend in hell,
Yes, demons and friends. Friends
we could
demons.
potentially
Devils.
Devils.
we could potentially, if you were able to destroy him on this plane of
Tomato,
existence,
tomato.
in this building that we've kept him prisoner for hundreds of years, we could put him in any part of hell, with some exceptions that we choose.
Do you know what? I really wish we could Constantine this whole thing and
Yeah,
just be
same.
like, a devil in heaven? God, I'd love to see that. I'd love just to go down there and just be like, you know what? Fuck you. You're going to the heavens. I'm going
Or,
to
you know,
absolve
send
you
him
of all
to
your sins.
super hell.
You have to
but
ask
he's-
for forgiveness to go to heaven, motherfucker.
Farewell.
We're gonna go see
Question.
Cass.
Yes.
With that knife of yours, could you not potentially just throw him out into the void where he can't do anything?
I don't
I don't think
think.
my
No,
knife
every
works
time
like
he's
that.
used it on himself and thrown himself into the void. He's never
Okay.
thrown anybody else into the void.
And
Uh,
but
Is
with
there a
him.
possibility of severing his connection
I was about
without
to
like
work on
having
that.
to fight him twice?
Simon, he does. Help me out here. Do I know anything that might help? Because Rodrigo is stumped.
Okay.
Aiden is smarter than me. Anything he might know, even if I need to roll for it.
This is why I don't play high int characters, because I'm dumb as a brush. I am fucking
Okay.
stupid, and I'm just like, fuck it.
Rodrigo, give me a Blood Hunter lore check.
Right.
So
that-
history?
for him, that's intelligence with proficiency.
Yeah, and I imagine this is gonna apply my Hunter's
Yes.
Bane, so I get advantage. Cool.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Guidance.
you have guidance.
Take your D4.
Demon Dave's Stone I dropped.
I'm telling you, I've always enjoyed the idea of just if they ever brought it into like the Forgotten Realms, is just being able to go full on atonement and actually genuinely heartfully grant a massive demon absolution, and so when it dies, it goes straight up to heaven. Because I couldn't think of anything worse for some truly evil being to be actually
Well.
forgiven.
Well.
Ouch.
Farewell. Is that
Okay.
something divine intervention could
By the way,
possibly solve?
I rolled a 1 and a 4.
You have, I want to remind you, have a finesse point for an advantage if you want to reroll.
No, that's fine. I already rolled with advantage, so.
Yeah, but the finesse points can be used as a reroll, can't
Yeah, you
it?
can re-roll it any one
I'll-
dice. Yeah.
I'll use it. I use it.
Okay.
later.
You start racking your brains for. Normally, most of the ways of killing demons is normally just to fuck them up enough to send them back to hell. You do know a couple of interesting chants and things to once you kill a Rakshasa, to stop that Rakshasa from knowing where you are. No, Kate, it's not that. It's Rakshasa.
No, but it was always jazz handsy. Do you have to do it like this?
Yeah, they do that, but the Critical Role do that, but it should be that. Anybody who knows anything about Rakshasa. So
Yeah, they have like opposite. Their hands are like.
their hands are back to
turned-
front. Yeah.
back to front.
So yeah, you know about taking down demons and things like that. You know, summoning demons is something that you're capable of doing. Normally, it requires an undead for you to speak to. Normally, it's a like you can get like a skeleton's head or something like that. Smash the head off a skeleton before its animus goes and start reciting something to it. And you can basically get the skeleton itself to summon the demon, which means that the demon that gets summoned doesn't get locked onto you. It gets locked onto the skull, which is useless. It gets summoned for up to midnight of the day where you summoned it, or after 3 questions that it doesn't have to answer truthfully. It just has to answer.
Nothing particularly helpful for our situation, though.
Yeah, there's a few little rituals, blood rituals that you know. You're pretty sure that you can use probably a blood glyph to protect somebody from a demon if you are fighting it. But that person would have to stay within 30 foot of you. That's about it.
Yeah, I even brought planar binding with me because just in case we needed to bind something, because it works on elementals, fays, celestials, or fiends. However, it's not going to work on a pit fiend. I only have a TC of 18. There's no way there's something that powerful.
In that case, it's less likely to work on the pit fiend.
Okay.
It's not impossible. When you said, planar binding won't work, I was like, planar binding is like one of the defined, in case of devil, break open this spell. So let me just check.
Do we have to
Also, do we want
to take Pit Fiend right now? These guys have been doing this for centuries. Do we have to do that to get to the general, or are they separate?
Also,
right.
Do we want to take a 10-minute break right now?
Oh, it is past. So, while I read up on this spell,
and
we'll take a 10-minute break, I think.
And just to finish that thought, I probably won't want to fight him today. I am not packed to heal, to fight. Okay, I'm packed to find and buff.
Yeah.
We cannot fight today.
But there's no reason to, because there is like this been going for so long.
I know exactly, but what I'm saying is like fighting an entire village of people. I can do that. I can do that on cantrips and other stuff alone.
Yeah.
Fighting something that big and bad, no, not today. You guys would go down faster than like a house of cards. Yeah. Like it would go through you like a hot. Like I couldn't do the fun stuff like buffing Eclipse's weapon with Holy Weapon again. So she can do like 120 points of melee damage every turn. That sort of.
Anyways.
That was a bullshit move, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you've managed to avoid fighting the whole
village.
Yeah, I feel a little bit better about that, but I have plans. I have plans that I need to talk to Eclipse when I get 5 minutes about.
Okay.
And then I also need to.
They're all gonna be, sent back to whatever afterlife awaits them in one way or another.
It all depends on how the DM's willing to flavor something. And if he's on board, then potentially.
Well, there's some ecumenical matter that you can speak to Bailiff Cloud about. This is why he's the preacher, is that, well, he kind of knows how to preach, being that he's part of the whole divinity thing.
Yeah.
This
is totally a sorcerer pretending to be a cleric. There's questions
I'm sure you'll have about the Pit Fiend and the General. And you can ask all those after the break. So let's ruminate on this for 10 minutes, and I will see you all after the break.
It's the whole.
What?
And
Hi!
welcome back for what
I
I
hate
think is
this.
the
I hate this.
the
I hate
least
this.
breakiest break we've ever had, as they just kept going.
I hate this.
Yep.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I get worried, you know. I get worried that I'm not going to be able to fuck with you when you get too powerful. But apparently, I've got a little time left.
You're a great DM, Simon. I fucking hate you.
This is not a question of power. If this was a question of like power, we would have already nuked this place off the face of
Glory
the earth and carried
exists.
on.
Glory is the aforementioned BFG.
Yeah. This is more of the fact that
Yes,
like
this is not a problem we can solve by throwing glory at it.
yeah, we're not murder hobos anymore.
We're not.
Uh,
Even though, even though
we?
Aiden was a hobo for a while.
No. We had one moment of murder hoboing, and then
Then
we
we
all
learned
got...
a lesson.
It's a phase.
Then
We
we
don't
left.
talk about it anymore.
I mean, didn't
We
we
don't talk about our
literally
faith
just nuke a bunch of like low-level like highwaymen not all that long
But
ago?
we tried.
We
Did
tried.
we?
Gave them the option.
I totally
Kate,
tried.
Yeah, but there
Kate,
wasn't
Kate,
enough
Kate.
trying before they absolutely
No,
got
Kate.
melted.
Kate, you need to realize
Mhm.
we did not nuke a bunch of low-level
No,
bandits.
Glory did.
Glory.
Glory did. I used the royal we, but I was really
Wait.
meaning Glory.
Farewell and Aiden were basically pleading to these guys, for the love of
Please
God,
don't.
just stop, get
Please.
away.
Please don't. It's more that I don't want to spend the 20 minutes cleaning up the mess.
I'm just not sure if there was much time for them to make that decision before Glory nuked them.
Oh no,
They
don't
have
fight
if-
first.
if-
But if one of them had been
ways,
nuked, we
and
probably
they-
could have saved the others, but they were all annihilated.
Yeah, they were all annihilated in about
Not
6
like
seconds.
anyone's gonna miss them.
I mean,
The shiniest polished skeletons you've ever seen in your life.
No, I don't think
I
the skeletons
mean-
even remained after that acid, probably. Oh boy.
I
I want to
mean-
say no.
Well.
I want to say no.
So,
Yeah.
you are sat still in front of a very confused bailiff Cloud who is looking at this exchange
Aiden,
going back and
I
forth
want to say that
with
Aiden.
bemusement on his face.
Sorry. I want to say that by this point, like when he started telling his story, Aiden sat down one of the pews. By this point, he has just like completely just melted into the pew. He's just going.
Yeah. Don't worry about him. He is complaining about his job.
Bailiff says, we've spent a long time trying to get to where we are today, and we hope that we can carry on with this. There's a dream that we all share amongst us, and that is the dream that when we've completed whatever transition, whatever journey we are on, that maybe we can walk hand in hand with our clients, those we protect, into the Cascade and beyond. I don't mind if I float through the astral sea for the rest of existence. I just don't want to go back And he looks down at his feet. Back there. If I die today, tomorrow, I don't mind. As long as I don't go there.
And as long as we don't send Cloud and the others there as well.
I don't think this is a solution we're going to solve immediately. It's going to take some time to work at it, but I think we can safely
Question.
say.
No,
Fun.
sorry. This is me to Simon. Sorry. From what I know, how trigger happy is Hector?
Hector is not one of nature's thinkers. It's why he made you the commander. He's really good at fights. He's really good at surviving. The old wolf is very good at surviving, and he's very good at trauma. This guy has seen some really hinky shit, and he's never been any different to how you knew him when you were a kid.
So question, so if I come back to the Dusk Hole and even give a hint, like not even like explain the full situation like Cloud just did, but just like even like a small hint, what are the chances that he's just gonna call the fucking hunt himself?
Fairly high.
There we go. So I can't even go back to the Dusk Hole to do research on it.
I mean, maybe
don't tell Hector what you're doing.
Yeah, you might be able to get some insight from Olivia, who is like a ghost. So maybe she has some insight.
You'll know from Olivia that she has only been semi-undead for what is still considered to be part of her mortal life. Her body is pretty much representative of her age, plus or minus 3 years. So she's a girl who's good with a sword, who can now step out of her body and become a ghost.
Cool.
She's not exactly the most well-read of people. Most of the stuff she knows.
Yeah, Dusk Hole is not gonna help. So
Renata?
She's centuries old.
I mean, you did say that you never accept help from the benefactor, but hell, you can go back on your word. Let's do that.
Look,
you probably
first of all, it's a very slow process to forgiveness.
Yeah.
And she has to meet us half fucking way.
I think the point that I didn't realize is what you just told me about Hector. He just starts fucking banging his head against the pew that he has in front of him.
That bad, huh?
It's never good.
Aiden, we'll figure it out. I'm sure it's not too.
Okay.
Fighting this mission, I had to just draw a Venn diagram and go, right, I can't go anywhere where there's a circle.
Yeah. And Aiden looks at Bailiff Cloud and very candidly tells him, I hate you. I'm gonna do everything in my power to help you. I fucking detest you.
Hey,
that's him telling you that he loves you.
Bailiff, a question if I may.
Of course. He kind of, almost like he's sniffing the air, goes, the spell has ended. But I will tell you.
I figured that you're not going to lie to us. It was, anyway. There's a bit of a grey area for me. Forgive me, there was a lot of information to take in it, and if I missed it.
I understand.
How did Cloud's soul become bound to this pit fiend? Did it make a deal? Did it agree to it? Why is it that these souls are bound? I know you or the Tabaxis were stood in judgment, but I don't understand how they've become bound to him, because understanding how they've got bound is at least the first step into being able to separate them.
We've theorized on this. We believe it was us, the fiends, that were being punished. But when it came to the Tabaxi that were nearest, there were lots of people dying during the judgment. The judgment was coming down on Juradan just Juridan and those who were guilty around him. As the rituals were going off, the generals that were guilty of sins were the ones being punished and cursed. The good ones, the ones that were fighting, they were the ones who were actually invoking the ritual. Honor was one of them. But he, as I said before, was personally cursed by Carnitava. The ones around us, they were being cursed, and Pride Mount in general was being cursed and attacked by members of Hell who were frankly having a tantrum at losing their cushy deal. At this point, they were defying the rules that we have of tempting the sinners into our mouths, and they were just running amok. The pit fiend that lies beneath my feet, I'm afraid I don't even know his name. He came to the prime material from the pit, presumably to grab whatever of his investment that he could get. These souls are innocent. How do you think we were able to protect them? Fiends suddenly performing an act of kindness, of protection. We weren't exactly being contrite, but in that moment we saw him breaking our laws. We've meditated on this for some time. That's how the thought came into our head at first, that he was breaking our laws. He was defying Asmodeus.
So if we can we essentially report him to the higher ups in Hell and say that he's breaking laws? And
that's the point. Well done. That's the point. We shouldn't be able to bind a pit fiend. It's not within our power to do so, but we believe because he was breaking the rules that Asmodeus cut him loose. And as a result, he weakened. And that's how we bound him. He no longer had the power that he had in Hell to be able to back him up, to be able to assert his will over us, which he should be able to do with a thought.
But if he's cut loose, does that mean he will still go back to Hell if he dies? Is he
You got the right of it there. I'm not entirely sure he will.
Yeah. We don't... Yeah,
Do we have a way
There's a grin on his face, but then a look of guilt as he thinks of this pit fiend's downfall and then feels guilty for doing so.
If we were to defeat him here in the prime material, could we in some way track him to see where he goes? If he goes to the back to Hell, or if he just properly dies?
I reckon I can do that. Can I do that, Simon, by the way?
Tell whether a fiend has gone down to Hell?
Right. I mean, I imagine that...
You could probably... If you could put a blood curse on the...
or the brand of castigation on it. Yeah.
There's a possibility that you'd be able to know where the brand went.
Gotcha.
There's a possibility of failure. You can't guarantee it.
No, that's okay.
Maybe you could put a few things on the guy and, try it that way. I mean, as a party.
Yeah.
Should we get the devil expert on this, Glory, or do we want to try and figure it out first?
I can't really call him in on this because it's one thing doing things like talking behind closed doors. It's another entire thing to ask for help. Even if
I can ask for help.
Yes, but by helping you, he is technically helping me become stronger, which is not correct and not okay.
Well, this has nothing to do with your strength. This is only to do with finding the hard door.
Also, mistress, if she helps Excellence, he will ask a boon that he will enforce with a Gaius. Maybe that she doesn't come to your aid on his next attack.
Farewell,
is a
farewell,
very
farewell
real
writes, I
possibility.
can fix that. I can fix that.
You don't hear that. Though.
You don't hear that.
You don't hear that. That's a familiar.
I know, but Farewell's like, I can fix that.
I know what he's
I can
saying.
fix that.
He's saying something. I know what he's
I feel feeling the force like Farewell just did a Deadpool.
Yeah, just looks at the camera. I can fix that.
No, we will not
There's a
be
little
asking him
box
for help
appears above his head.
because we were toe-stepping the line even in Antalsaron when we were fighting together and talking. You know, it's a thing. There's a lot of rules and regulations, and
Can't believe.
Which I do not
special-
care about when it comes to this, Glory. I'm very sorry.
But he's not
can't
your
be-
friend.
I
it's
can't believe I'm gonna be saying this, but I agree on Glory on the grounds that whatever deal we make with him is gonna fuck us over really hard in the future.
yes, that too.
I genuinely
Because
couldn't
if
care less about the
there
regulations.
is one thing
Yeah.
my cousin is very good at. It is getting what he thinks people owe him. Hasn't worked on me yet, though. But
I don't.
not for a lack of trying.
Him telling us more information about pit fiends is not really him doing anything a favor. He's just.
He
telling
is,
us
because if he
information.
throws the pit
Yes.
fiend at us, he's already told us how to defeat it.
Also,
Yeah.
information.
See?
Information
They
is about.
get it, Eclipse. Why can't you?
Because it's really dumb. It's the entire thing is just really, really dumb, and I do not get it. It's just.
It's tradition. Traditions are always
Tradition.
dumb.
Oh, he beat me to it.
If I were a rich man. Are we just doing that now? I didn't.
If I was a
Demon
wealthy
helpline.
My favorite part of that
Hey!
film is the fact that there is an argument that they have about, I think it's a cow, isn't it?
Yep.
That it's almost like the local football match is that they'll bring up the argument over the cow and then they'll go back.
Oh
to
no, it's a horse.
Oh, it's a horse. That's it, the horse. And that's the reason why they bring it up. It's tradition. It belongs to them. You know, they have a right to do it. I was just like, oh, I love it. That's so human.
Tradition.
All right, I love that.
Tradition.
Anyway,
Tradition. Tradition.
Remember when this was like very horror themed?
I don't know.
Yes?
Do you
Yeah.
remember that? Because I'm not sure that ever happened. I
this
think you're
scary
making it
village
up.
has jumped the horse. Let's go somewhere else.
Yeah. It was 2 years old. It was 4.
Nick?
Ugh.
But yes, let's keep that option open if we do need to talk to him for any reason. If we can't figure out to save these souls and we'll make it clear that it's not him doing us a favor, it's him saving a bunch of souls that would otherwise be like bound to this pit fiend that's
Eclipse.
been thrown out from hell.
Question.
No,
I
shut
won't
up.
care.
Clips. Question. Why would he care that he's saving a bunch of souls?
Because
Yeah, that-
he's-
Yeah, I kind of wonder about that too, Eclipse, because I know my cousin and he really wouldn't care.
He does
Well,
He
he
would
seems to
care
kind of-
if it fucks me over, which it doesn't.
well, I think you are making your cousin to be much worse than he actually is, from what I've seen.
No. No,
Yes.
No, we really aren't.
Yes, I think so. Like, why would he help Glory otherwise? When
Because it
Because he
benefits
was
him.
helping himself.
I just start writing down like these observations of like that. I'm just like, this adventure has clearly broken Eclipse. She's convinced that someone from Atalzaran is not
Is-
a complete arsehole.
Okay.
Complete.
I
This
think
is weird.
right. Clearly, we're getting off topic. I feel like. 'Cause what are you writing? I wish you would write so I can read it. Okay. Look. All of this
Okay,
aside.
question. Do
wait
we
for-
have to
wait-
solve
wait-
this
wait
today?
for a second,
Hang on,
yeah.
let Kat speak.
All
'cause
of this
Kat hasn't
aside,
spoken much.
right? So
That's okay.
we've got a village full of people who are trying to protect some souls from this pit fiend who is down there. But there's also the general who is down there. Are they in the same place? And I look at the preacher guy.
Bailiff Cloud. Bailiff Cloud looks at you and says, "The pit fiend nests on top of
Shit.
the
Okay, they're
the
in the same
general.
place. God damn it. I was gonna say, can we just do the general and deal with the other shit later? But it sounds like we can't.
No, he knows that if he left the general alone, we'd go down there and perform a ritual that would allow the general to rest.
Okay, Eclipse, looking at that map of yours, how near is the nearest other one? Can we just leave this for a moment and come back to this one another day?
Just put this one on pause. Just put this one on hold.
Simon has a panic attack and starts looking through his notes. It's like, oh shit, what are the other ones?
No.
Simon,
Why?
whilst this is going on, I'm preparing a divination, ritually casting divination.
Sure. Yeah. So
I'm
Yeah,
just
what happened to the
saying,
lady that
if
was
we
flying?
distract the pit lord by essentially murdering it and sending it to another plane, it would give the villagers enough time to exorcise the general, and then they'd be free to live their own lives until we figure out how to deal with them.
Oh, Sean,
hello,
thank you for the
Seekian,
raid.
and hello, Seekian's viewers. I hope
Hey,
you guys
Sean.
have had a great time. We are in the middle of
She
a
sat down
morally
again,
ambiguous challenge for the guys, which has made lots of player debates, which I'm really pleased about.
Simon, something that Aiden is
Hey,
doing.
Fuka.
While there's Cora trying to figure something out with Eclipse and Farewell trying to do the divination spell, Aiden is under his breath. He is, I shit you not, he is trying to making a plan to speed run the Duskhold. He's like, okay, it takes the thing opens at dusk. If it takes this long to get to the library, if I skip this, I can skip another few seconds. Like he's trying to figure out a plan to enter the Duskhold, go to the library, get all the books it needs, then exit the Duskhold before dusk is over.
Before dusk finishes. Yeah, you think it's probably possible. Nick, by the way, your divination ritual, I looked up the components. You don't need to spend anything. You are in a temple of...
Oh, cool. I will not mark that off my entry then.
Yeah,
Cool.
so you have looking at the Raven Queen idol that is here.
Oh, it's real. Bonus points.
Yeah, it's genuinely meant. Yeah, it's a genuine
You
Raven
actually
Queen.
meant that one.
Yeah.
And it's real. Oh, go you.
Yeah, you check it. It's anointed. It's everything is correct about it. Once you connect with it, it is a pylon for your power. You don't. It says here you'd need a sacrificial offering. Not required here. You by traveling to it is enough of an offering. This is this is a temple. There's incense everywhere.
Yeah. Oh no! Farrell's Farrell probably use that because he's cheap, and it would be like that. Like it smells like a 13-year-old Wiccan's like bedroom. That really like you're already.
Don't you have several
feel
thousand
the
gold on
shame.
you?
You feel the shame. You know what I'm talking about. You can't sit there, Rodrigo, and go, "Whew."
I literally don't. I never done that. Legit.
Makes two of us.
Yes. Unless there's anything else, anyone, I'm going to ask my question.
Go for it.
Go for
Yep.
it, dude.
Suddenly you see the Raven Queen's idol bathed in a strange silver light. Go ahead, Nick.
We are potentially about to fight a rather strange pit fiend here. Not sure how that escaped all of our gaze, but it did, and I'm not trying to judge. But you should be aware.
Sassing your goddess.
I mean, they are imperfect beings. That means they always deserve a nudge when they get to pick up their socks.
I feel like Farewell is calling the Raven Queen customer support. I hate this.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go get my Karen haircut and. Just...
If you misunderstood that the Raven Queen is the goddess of dying and not death, please press 1.
Which is just an automated message telling you to go ring the actual gods.
Read the fucking manual.
Read the manual. If we were to destroy this pit fiend, would it truly return to the hells, or would it be destroyed in absolution?
Okay.
What's the point in having divination if you can't use it?
Yeah. So it says here, puts you in contact with a god or a god's servants, so call handlers.
I have. Welcome to the Raven Queen hotline.
The one that answers is a pale-looking young woman, long black straight hair, wearing a mourning dress, a veil over her face, but the veil is very thin. You can see her face. She has black inky orbs for eyes. Her skin is almost completely white and almost translucent. You can see evidence of dark blood vessels under the skin. You feel very, very cold. You know that if you were to touch her skin, she would be icy cold to the touch. You also know that she's a celestial. This is a muse. One of the Raven Queen's personal muses. She steps out from behind the idol of the Raven Queen. I'd like to point out that only Farewell can see this. Farewell is kind of in twilight right now. She steps forward and says, "The creature of which you speak was rejected from hell. Asmodeus has only ever been able to keep his tenuous link to the gods, of which my mistress is one of them, and the others who lost their way and worked against the harmony of existence only by following the rules. Is it not said that Asmodeus once stepped in front of the gods themselves and a host of angels, pled his case, and was able to walk away? This pit fiend does not have the blessing of Asmodeus. He is an exile. Slaughter it, and it shall be no more." With a thin wisp of light, the muse disappears.
Did we all hear that? Or was that only
No,
Farewell?
only I
Farewell.
know. I turn around and look at Aiden, and I say to him, "Would you like to kill a pit fiend completely without it having to go to the hells?"
Sure.
I'll
There's one
take it.
downstairs.
Take it. Actually, I would really like if we're even like.
Oh, we're
I
not
would
doing
like
it
some-
today. I'm sorry, we're not doing it today. I cannot do it
Today.
Yeah.
Also, I really
I'm
like
busy.
that.
Can we do it later?
I really like that that we're all struggling over this and trying to find some way, some solution. Farewell calls his god, and emissary of the god just says, "Kill the motherfucker."
Ice that bitch.
Hello, I've got back from my manager, and the Raven Queen says, "Stab a bitch."
He
Kill
sure
the hoe.
did.
Yeah. Kill the hoe.
Well, that solves that problem of the pit fiend going back to the hells. So that means we can go and murder the pit fiend. So that's good. And then we can
Not
raise
It's
today.
gonna look so
Not today.
good when I go back home. Killing a pit fiend completely outside of hell. This is gonna go in the books. I'm sure of it.
Sure.
Everyone just shrugs and goes, "Sure."
Yeah. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, okay. Yeah, we are going to need to plan.
Plan.
Absolutely.
We are
We do
Have
some research
any
on
of our
pit
plans ever worked, Farewell?
Well, now we actually know what we are
We
fighting, so we
never
might as well do
planned
some
that.
research on pit fiends. Do you have anything on pit fiends, Aiden?
I'm planning on going back to the Duskhold and getting, all, read up on it, get all the books
I
related
need
to them,
you
and hopefully
to
prepare.
stay for dinner, and then you can go.
He can't go into dusk anyway.
I can't go until it's dusk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Trying to make light of the situation a little bit, Bailiff Cloud goes, "We have enough to go round."
Oh, sorry. I'm not trying to be rude. It's a magical feast that we will be consuming. It will give us protections and immunities and bolster us for the fight that is to come ahead.
Now
Okay,
Aiden
well,
has to
could you
decide.
possibly like scry or something and get the Pit Lord's name? Because I got this lovely.
I don't have scry prepared, I'm afraid.
I can scry, but I don't think you can necessarily get a name from that. I can just look at him.
I think it's just location, right?
Yeah,
but
so-
you can't we're probably not gonna get the name unless we
However,
ask the Pit Fiend.
My next question was going to be,
Do you know
on that line, do you have anything related to the Pit Fiend?
Yes.
So, do you know the name of the Pit Fiend? We
He
No, he's
already
already
said
said
no
no.
earlier, Corinne.
okay.
Oh,
Yes,
You
you
do?
do. Yes.
You do?
Could I see it?
He walks over to the vigilant and says, "Take a break." Picks up the bowl and walks it up to you.
Oh, it's in the bowl.
When
Okay.
we committed it down there, it had a number of items with it. This was one of them. We believe it's a scrying bowl, but we perverted its use. Now it's the bowl of. You've heard of the Horn of Plenty? This is the bowl of empty. Sorry, a joke.
That's really good.
A joke amongst us.
I
We keep the bowl empty and focus on it. We use it to taunt the pit fiend, to distract it, to keep his mind purely on his hunger.
Okay. I put it in my hands. I go, hold on. I need 250 gold's worth of incense. You got that in here?
Because my blood makes plants grow like crazy. I've got whole bushels of it back.
All right. Can you rustle me up 250 gold, please?
He goes, I don't know what the exchange rate is, but I can bring you along.
It's about, and Farrell goes, it's about this much.
Sure. He comes back with what seems to be like weed bricks. Normally we rip it off in tufts, but I guess we could just pile some of it together in a brazier.
Yeah, hold on. And I open my and I'm just like
You open your
stuffing
what?
as much of it I can. It's not a sensor. It's basically a
Yeah.
metal object you put incense
you
in.
cut out, so we missed what it was.
Oh,
but
sorry.
that's cool.
Yeah.
It's that thing they swing in
my-
church that you really want them to start doing sick bolas tricks with. But yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Do fire boy.
Just
No,
two of them,
so
yeah, the fire boy, yeah.
Yeah.
I like the idea of them using those things as a fucking flail.
Yeah, so I rip a chunk off, put it on top of the sensor, light it, place the sensor on top of the rest of it, prop up 4 strips of ivory, which I now need to go and buy more. I'm out of ivory.
Oh my god.
Which I feel really
Do you
bad
think
about
that
the
is
fate.
it in the inventory of the Duskull? Is it something I can just get for him?
Oh no,
Uh,
it doesn't consume the ivory. That's fine. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I was about to say
It's
it
fine.
only consumes
Only
the
consumes
incense.
the incense. Yeah, it doesn't consume the ivory.
And
although I
ivory,
have
by the
issues-
way, in this case, is not taken from elephants. It's ivory taken from any horn, and there's lots of horned creatures that will want to kill you in this world. So don't worry about that. No
I was
elephants
about
were
to say, I
harmed
was
in the
like-
making of this divine ritual.
I was like, I feel really morally conflicted about actually using ivory in my spells, but and I place it on, and for spending another 10 minutes, we'll cast Legend Lore and pray to God I learn who's this fucking bowl and I get its name.
Fuck. Okay, Legend Lore is one of the heavy hitters.
I'm throwing a 5th level spell slot to do it.
Yeah, it is one of the heavy hitters. Okay, well, go on. I didn't expect you to get that far that early. Okay, fair enough.
Well, I figured that, that would help Aiden with his research. It would give Corinne insight into any questions that she may need to answer when it comes to the end of this Heart of Juridan escapade. And Glory will be able to actually use its name to give him kudos when she gets back to her family. So everybody profit.
That, and I have another thing I'm gonna do with the name.
And I can just say, oh, do you know Billy Bob? Yeah, I killed him.
Well, to be
Yeah,
fair,
that you can say next
when-
time we meet
when-
a evil devil
I
thing.
figured that, like, when you get together with your, like, bro nights on, like, your, when you have, like, your proper sort of,
Some
like...
fucking Friday
Right.
meetings to play
Bro,
cards.
Pit Feed! His name
Well,
was
it's like
Dwayne!
It's like those dudes that, like, technically I'm one of that, like, meets up with the lads at weekends to watch sports and drinks beer. That's kind of how I imagine Cora the other nights are. Like, she goes away, she's like, all nice, and all the rest of us, and she goes back, and she's like, what do I do?
We just like, we chest bump each other. Hoorah!
Ooh,
Cora is the biggest Chad of the group.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
She walks into like the whole entire like
Wow,
summer
that
Cora,
broke
and,
canon
she,
early.
and she's just like completely like, yeah, man, I killed a pit fiend. Do better. Do better.
Oh god, now
Champion.
like a skit in my head where Cora comes out and is like, "What up, my bitches? Pit fiend, beat it."
And she's just like, yeah, man, come on.
Oh well, it's canon now, I guess.
You're trying to write a world, and you're trying to keep the flavor. And
Nope.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
your players just
Write a book.
100% completely derail it and ruin it.
I can't believe you that comment didn't come out when I say that I wanted to speed run the fucking Dusk Hall.
To be fair,
Half a press.
I think me and Nick have been watching the same type of
I
streams
think
lately.
I know.
I've just got this mental image actually of Aiden. It's kind of like that Mario 35, where like there's like so many other blood hunters in the Dusk Hold, and they all start at the same place, and it's like just trying to get through the levels as quickly as they can, and avoiding like.
So
the
Aiden, how
Travelator
do you
that
get
looks
through the
the
Dusk Hold
worst.
so quickly? But first, we need to talk about parallel universes.
Half A presses.
Half a press. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, double jump, double jump, double jump, double jump.
Anyway.
I also would hope that Aiden wouldn't be the type of guy to abuse the save function in the in the Switch releases. He'd be like, no, I'm old school.
Yeah.
I'm old school, man.
Okay.
Death and Glory.
Why do you...
Death and Glory. Okay. Anyway, right. So Legend Lore. When you guys were there just going off track, I was like, I'm going to use this tangent to update my notes.
I was also technically trying to buy you enough time to finish your research so that
Thank you.
can continue
So
on.
you immediately know that this bowl belongs to the Core Gorathian. All one word: Corgoration.
Or Gorath.
Sorry, Athion.
Yeah, core Gorathian.
Gora-
I will share that knowledge so everybody knows that.
That's the pit fiend, yeah.
That's
Yep.
the feed.
Yep. Referred to as the something rather than the. It's like calling somebody the Bob instead of Bob, but never mind. This is the Core Gorathian that is ensconced beneath you. At one point, he was a big deal. He was a big deal. He was.
I was huge in the 80s.
Beginning of the Blood War. He was frontline, brash, rising to power. Loved his fame, even amongst other fiends. Was very loud rather than insidious. The type of fiend that would just be screaming from the rooftops, roaring. And was very successful as a result of that. after that, or after the thing with Jordan, he pretty much bet the farm on this gambit. He could see that, as was stated, the Lords of Hell had come together for the first time. He wasn't going to be missing that particular gravy train. And so he, as I say, bet the farm, put everything he had into making sure that this would work. His agents were everywhere. A lot of Jordan's battles, the later ones that were won so easily, which was part of the acceleration of Jordan's success. It seemed that he had almost exponential success. That was down to people like the Korgorathian, who was, let's say, weakening, sending up demons dressed as regular folk that would just be part of the ranks. They were wearing the right uniform, and they would kill and slaughter and generally do what his folk do best. He lost a lot of demons that way because in order to do that and send them up there, he had to weaken them to the point where they would have a kind of mortal mean. So a lot of his demons ended up being dismissed back to hell, lower power. He lost a lot of power that way. He also invested a lot in terms of soul energy to be able to do some of the things that needs to be doing. He was one of the major investors in making sure that Karnatava was pretty much the stealthiest fiend there ever has been. He called in a lot of his favors. Some of his existence's work was put into Karnatava. He was one of the most pissed when she when she defected, rebelled in some way. And yeah, he fucking lost it. When the judgment came down, everyone panicked. He used the remainder of his power in the pit to manifest on the prime material plane. And as he did so, he took one great inhalation, opening up his huge slavering maw, and started to suck souls into his body, attempting to take what he could before he left.
Nice.
Ordinarily, you have a feeling that legend lore would not be able to work on this. It's something that's innate. Put it this way, I feel like even your goddess is surprised at the sudden influx of information. Your divine power feels like it should be failing, and yet, in this building, with the fiend beneath your feet, the legend lore works perfectly.
Slight concern, but
No. It's adding weight to something that I've got going in my head, but I return the bowl. I thank them. I explain everything that I just learned to everybody else, so you all know that.
Oh, lovely. You see as Glory pulls out a tablet from her bag that looks like a scroll and writes the name and then puts it back.
Nice.
So why did you?
Someone who looks at her inventory list.
Yep.
Glory has pulled out a lead tablet and stylus.
Mhm.
And presumably in Draconic you have... Yeah, okay.
Okay, so are you gonna tell us why you have that weird tablet thing and why did you need the name Glory?
She's told us before.
Oh.
Yes, I got it as a present from my aunt like 2 months ago. I told you about it then.
Yeah.
I can't remember. What does it do?
Oh, it just makes sure that I hit harder when I fight someone I have the name of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have
Question, Simon.
Mm-hmm.
Aiden would know this. I don't. But so the seven hells. I imagine there's like different domains to it. It's kind of like Dante's thing. Like there's like every circle is like a different thing.
Nine house.
The 9 circles of hell.
It's the 9.
Nine circles of hell. Yeah. 9 circles. Yeah, sorry.
Nick
Okay, so
knows a
is
lot
it
about this
plausible
now.
for a thing that Aiden could ask right now to Baelith, to help prepare against this pit lord? From what part of the Seven Hills this pit fiend is?
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he would tell you.
Well, we know that Asmodeus is in the 9th. That's where
Yeah.
Asmodeus likes to hang out. If it fought in the Blood War, that means it was at least in Avernus for one stage, which is the first.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I know that 8th layer is the ice one.
Yep. That's Mephistius.
Just fact checking.
Yeah, Mephistian.
Mm.
That's Mephistian's realm.
So you're quite right that when he rose to power in Avernus, where the Blood War rages the strongest.
Right.
However, this pit fiend originally comes from Maladomini. Maladomini.
Which
Maladomini.
one is that
So
one?
okay. So imagine I'm gonna have to make a specifically research on not just the pit fiend, but particularly from that circle of hell, right?
Mm.
Okay.
So yeah, Seventh Circle of Hell. Circle of Hell is filled with ruins of old cities, stagnant rivers, exhausted and abandoned quarries, strip mines, stone aqueducts, and lava canals, decaying fortresses, swarms of biting flies, and black pools of ichor that erupted from the ground.
Okay. So I asked that he writes it down on a small journal just to make a note of that.
The most famous part of Maladomini is Malagard, and that is the Endless City. Once you're in there, you pretty much can't get out.
Okay.
Thing is, it always looks populated and it looks beautiful. Even in hell, it looks beautiful. And after going through a wasteland for ages and ages, it's where all the wandering souls tend to go to. And once they're in, they don't get out. So, that's where he's from. Specifically from the Black Pools of Maladomini.
Okay. Okay. Basically, something Aiden's gonna do is just gonna be asking a bunch of technical questions to Baelith. Just a bunch of like I said, from what circle, et cetera, et cetera. Just making a lot of notes that he's later going to.
Yeah.
Right.
And Bailiff Cloud, now that he's been given the name and things like that, is now able to go. Yeah. Yes. Sorry, my memories are more of a mortal thing these days, but I'll furnish you with what I can.
Every ounce of information counts.
So, let me get this right. Father Barebones, you're saying that if we destroy it, it can't go back.
Yeah.
That's going to deliver us.
Yeah.
That means that. But are you strong enough to destroy it? If he beats you, if he takes your souls.
We killed an adult red dragon 2 weeks ago.
This is.
So we're
When you say
on
we
the
killed,
scale
I
of
suppose
being
we're right.
able to do it, I would say, because that was really easy.
No, easy. Yeah.
But I do agree.
I didn't even take any damage. I don't know what you're talking about.
It's Glory.
Okay. You can see he's excited and terrified at the same time. Okay, the Korgorathian. I'll tell you what I know from seeing him. Some pit fiends have wings. He doesn't. Instead, he's this undulating mass of blubber and flesh. He's shielded by it. You almost have to mine through him. He's just so substantial. We once attacked him back when we could take our imp forms. we scratched at him and bit at him, but we couldn't even make a mark. You'd need to be able to do large amounts of damage at any one time. I wouldn't recommend using knives or even small swords against it. Large amounts of damage.
Aiden, would you mind looking up how resistant pit lords are to acid?
Will do.
I mean, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, resistant to anything.
Because I mean, even if everything melts at some point, unless they're immune.
Okay, so Aiden's putting this down. Aiden's got basically a bunch of questions that he has to speed research in the Dusk Hole.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, what Aiden wants to avoid, like, he will take his time if he needs to, but what Aiden wants to avoid is for Hector to catch wind of the situation in this village and then come race it to the ground. Right?
Yeah.
That's what he wants to avoid.
Yeah.
Aiden's like, this is what I call a pro gamer move.
Exactly. So that's why what I'm considering is either fucking going to the Dusk Hole, get all the books he needs, then get out and do the research in the village.
Sure. Okay.
Or go to the Dusk Hole and do the research there as normal, but then try to keep Hector as out of the loop as possible. And I don't know which one's hardest.
Either is fine. Yeah. Okay.
Concerns me, but I have this feeling that your lash knife is still going to be effective. You can do that thing, can't you, where you swing it round your head and you can hit more than one person? You know, I've seen you do that before.
I mean, yes, but my lash knife is still magical, and even though it's small, I hit the right spots.
Exactly, that's what I mean. So I think that we have ways here, but we might need to start calling out some big guns. How long does it take for the magical stone that you gave me to recharge? The one with the wind elemental in it.
The wind elemental.
You needed to kill a new one first. Kill an elemental and absorb its energy, I think.
I'm trying to find my notes.
See, asking the real questions.
I mean,
Don't
I
ask
can
lore.
summon an elemental.
Yeah, we're just going to summon an elemental, kill it, recharge my stone, wait 24 hours.
I didn't mean that. I just mean you don't have to do that because I can summon one. But yeah.
Well,
It does mean that you can have two elementals later. It's like banking an elemental.
Yeah. I was wondering if... fucking hell. Thanks, Scorm.
It's happening now. Well, it's better to happen now in a way than mid-fight when we fireball ourselves mid-fight.
Yeah, I was going to say...
Scornfuse has probably looked at the time, thought, they're not going to fight.
They're not going to fight today. No, we're definitely not.
We're not going to fight it today.
You know what to do, Scorn.
Next week.
D100, please.
I'm going to say is that Farewell will ask, is there perhaps something bigger that Cora can summon?
Free.
Is there what?
Free?
That I can summon?
Underwhelming.
Roll a d6 and see which one of us gets fucked.
Suddenly, Bailiff Cloud goes, "Oh, a fairy," and points directly at Eowyn. Eowyn goes, "The fuck? I didn't see the fairy before."
Oh. He can see invisible creatures.
You all can. Everybody can see Eowyn. Eowyn's like, I'm feeling exposed now.
This is my safe place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Eclipse was still invisible, man, if you'd rolled that earlier, Scornfuse, basically Eclipse just would have popped and everybody would have seen her.
I mean, can you, Cora? Can you summon things bigger than a elemental?
Plesiosaurs?
I was thinking something bigger than that.
Bigger than that?
It seems to be your thing. Like, you know, you summon Pegasuses, and
I
you
can
told
summon
us
a
about the big giant horse thing, bird thing.
How
Although the
about
Pegasus
Sir
will be
Mittens,
useful.
by the way?
Pegasus
I need
is
to check
useful. elemental.
Pegasus would be useful.
Mittens.
Cloud says, "Don't summon anything too big. The chamber that he's in.
I was gonna
Part of-
ask.
Part of us sealing him in is that he can't get through the doors.
Could
He
you
can't physically fit.
could you draw us where he is and how big it is and
Yeah, a
everything
map.
so that we can basically, is there a map of because I think that I mean, like, that Koro was waiting to ask that question, to be honest, when
Sure,
everyone else was asking.
I can do
It
better
was like,
than that,
where is
so-
he, and they're hiding places, so all that sort of stuff.
He
they wanna
effectively
know.
draws this map. Please look at roll 20.
Okay,
Oh,
hold on.
Oh
I'll put it
Christ!
up, put it up.
Give me a moment.
Yeah, 'cause
where's
that's not
OBS?
disgusting. Well, I'm gonna assume that since he seems pretty stationed, he won't have the best decks. That is good.
I was going to say, Simon, do you want me to show you the dynamic lighting lines to hide all the walls from us?
I do use dynamic lighting sometimes, but in this case,
They're drawing it. For
once
us,
you got
essentially,
down there, it was like I put the map on there just to show that there is a complex, but mostly you were just walking straight up to the big bellowing demon, devil. So
I mean, that's
Right.
So-
gross, though.
so is he,
That's
like,
super gross?
That is gross, yeah.
inside a cage, inside a room. I kind of.
he's
asked.
inside a room that, as Bailiff Cloud is sketching this, he actually tells you that they ended up having to build the room in around him.
Okay.
Oh. Oh, that's not good.
I'm just
It's not-
saying, melt. It's a deck save, but it's 10d6 plus 40 acid damage.
He's probably got magical resistance.
Again, with,
He might not be
with a
resistant to
pained
acid,
look,
though.
Bailiff Cloud goes, "Yeah, something about the room. If you want to get magic in there, you got to be in there too.
Yeah,
that's fine.
You can
assuming-
jump in and out of the door. That's fine, but the ward that's on it, I doubt you'll be able to get a spell past it.
Are there 3 doors, or is this one the only one open? And I'm pointing at the one on the right. Yeah.
He says, well, there's 2 doors that you'll be able to use to get to him. The third one is on the other side. It goes to I don't know, probably more coffins. These were all they were the builders of this facility. They had the honor of being buried with the general when their lives were up. It was considered a great honor for them. The chamber that we tried to originally get him in one of the further chambers, but in the end we cut our losses and we built it up from there.
When was
It
the last
took
time
a lot
you
of our
went?
power to raise that barrier to the point where we're too weak to lower our own barrier now.
Yeah. When was the last time you went down there?
That was the Wi-Fi.
Oh, the Wi-Fi would be terrible down there. Terrible.
Especially
We're
inside
going
that
off
room.
grid. We're going off grid deliberately.
Yeah, we're going completely off grid.
This
mean,
is
how-
a good size room.
We go down
This
there.
is a super good size room.
We go down
Again,
there
you need to be
regularly.
inside of that to cast magic.
I'm just saying, go in, cast an acid ball, blink and go out, and
You
You
can't.
would be in there.
You have to be inside where it is for it to fucking cast magic.
Almost like the DM wrote it that way.
Yeah.
So he says we go down on a regular basis. We check it 3 times a day, just in case he starts damaging the wards, the room. So far, he's so weak. He's been starved for such a long time. Other than our feasts, of course, which only gives him temporary respite. Bear in mind, we're not exactly performing acts of gluttony. We're cramming because we're starving.
Yeah.
That's not gluttony.
So nothing up and about walking around under his control.
He keeps
Okay.
trying to make us those things. We're about the only things he can connect to anymore. With Asmodeus denying him, there's no way that he can get any form of backup from the pit.
Yeah.
You notice that Bailiff Cloud's voice, he's dropped some of the accent. And that's not just me dropping the accent. His
Yeah,
preacher persona seems to be dropping more. And now his voice has almost gone a little lighter, a little more sneery, a little more impish.
What time of day is it? Like, I don't know how long we have been here.
I'm going to say it's 4 p.m. Largely because it's 2 hours since you asked last.
Well, that's good because it won't be too long before we need to eat, so I can get my hero feast prepared. This is my last one, by the way. I haven't got the material components to do another one after this.
Oh yeah, because we were given like 2 chargers from Renata. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've used one, and this is our second one.
I do need to go to the dust hole, though. That's the problem.
Yeah. Well, eat first, because
By
then
the
you'll...
sounds of it, you all need to rest up anyway.
Yeah.
We'll get our feast prepared, but we're going to debate that first, whether it be better for you if we feast or if we don't.
Do you think you could hold another 24 hours? That's a big ask.
It would be a test of faith, certainly. But I think we could. Now, this is up to you. If we feast as normal, he's going to be momentarily sated. It'll be done according to schedule, and so he'll expect, because he counts the days, he'll expect it to happen. It'll happen. He'll think it's business as usual.
Will he be stronger?
No, he'll be about the same, but he will not suspect much.
And if you
wait, if we don't have the feast, first of all, he'll know that something's up, so you've lost that element. But it means he will have starved for a whole extra day longer. For him, that's like a lifetime. He will start pressing on our minds. He'll start.
Then feast.
He'll ask us to do
He'll
things.
be mad. I
We'll
don't
have
see
to.
the reason. If it
Yeah,
doesn't weaken
feast.
him or make him
Feast.
stronger,
Feast.
just do the normal
It'll
thing.
distract him.
Yeah, feast.
The more he starves, the more distracted he becomes.
But the more
So
angry.
you can either get
so...
him surprised or distracted.
We'll take surprise.
I will take surprise, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eclipse works very well with surprise. It's one of her special.
Then I also recommend that you come down with us when we do our daily check. He'll expect the footfalls. You'll be able to get right up next to the room.
Sounds very good.
Yep.
Yes,
Well-
we'll need to...
Well, we got a long night ahead of us because there's a lot we need to get prepared before we head down there.
Yeah, we need to
Agreed.
have a good night's sleep. We need to have any spells prepared, and we need to do... to find more about pit fiends, do they have, like, with the
I'll
dragons,
handle
where they
that.
make you afraid? Did they have anything where they're resistant, or are they...
I'll handle
Well,
that.
as you prepare yourself for what I hope is not the battle of your lives,
We always are.
and we prepare for the feast, and you gather what favor you can from the gods. Come and get us anytime with any questions that come out in the meantime. But if you excuse me for now, I've maybe our last feast to prepare. He steps out of the temple, and you can see that Eowyn, which I kind of fucked up because Eowyn was actually outside the temple, sat on top of the entrance. But let's say she came in, he saw her.
I think she would have come in. Well,
Yeah.
I think once
oh
we
well.
knew what was going on, she might have come in anyway. I
She
might have gone.
may have come
It
in.
seems cool. We actually know what's going on here.
Yeah, she probably came in when he started coming clean and sent the parishioners out.
Yeah, you're fine.
When he goes outside, word got around from the parishioners. There's not a seething mob outside, but there is an anxious village of about, 71 people, 72 including Cloud. And you can hear him start somewhat of a narration. My brothers and sisters, for so long, time of our reckoning, I guess, is at hand. Come, let's prepare the food, and we'll eat as a family for one last time. He steps off and leaves you guys. Go on, Nick.
I was going to say, if I may, Bailey, I will. I'll need maybe an hour and 10 minutes of your time of everyone's time during your feast. But for now, make your preparations as we will make ours.
We'll make ourselves available. Come, everyone. Let's get ready. They all step off, and you seem that there's almost like a rote to it all, that they're all almost doing this by muscle memory. You can see that bread is being torn open. Huge pats of butter are being spread amongst them all. You can smell stews and roasts all being placed together as long trestle tables are taken out of the buildings, as they're going to all eat in this village center rather than in their individual homes. As you guys are getting ready to prepare, and as they are preparing for their own ritual, we're going to finish the adventure there for today. It's 11 o'clock, and thank you to everybody for joining us. Thank you for Seeking for the raid. Scornfuse and Hermit, it is as always a joy to see you. And also to some of the people who've jumped in for the first time in a while. So, well, not in a while, first time ever. Papa's Gut, thank you very much for joining us. Who was the one before? X Calamity, thank you for joining us as well. This is a long-running saga. It's best just to kind of jump in and just ride the wave of chaos along with us, as these guys have started off at level 1, and they're all the way up to level 12 now. And there's a lot of development that's gone along the way. They kind of did a bit of a loop, but you could watch previous episodes to find out about that. And also, did I see Dacia? No, I only saw you. Oh, it was Thunderlord. Yeah, who I think.
Yeah, and Kevin.
Kevin.
Yeah. So a big thank you to food carts as well. How could I forget the food cart? Almost 100, and episode 100.
You're getting close.
But depending on how it goes here, is whether I'm going to do a kind of one-shotty thing or whatever. I don't know. I'm mostly riding this in to see how it goes. I might get it so that we have TPK.
We'll have to wait until Mothership for that.
Yeah. We're gonna leave a particular brand of madness for today. Any of you who haven't already done so, have a look below. There's a link to our Discord. Come say hi. We play lots of different games, not just role-playing games, and we would love to hear from you.
Yes,
until then, we are going to go and do a quick raid. He says clicking the wrong thing on his
Felicia, do you know if Hazel Lady Games accepts random raids from people? Or does she not?
Yes. Oh, there you go.
Albert
I
is
was
streaming
unmuted.
VR for the first time
But yes,
in forever.
I think she does if you wanna type it in. I don't know if you or I have the ability to do that though.
I have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in that case, we're going to say good night to you all. Join us again on Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. For some of the concluding episodes of our Star Wars Edge of the Empire game, where you'll be able to rejoin Felicia, Corinne, and Rodrigo, and they'll be joined by Ed as JTVO, although currently ATVO,
yeah.
Yeah, we have like changed
because you've all got aliases at the moment. As you go onto a planet that's not unlike Alpha Complex. So yeah, join us then, and we'll be back again on Friday.
I missed one episode. What did I miss?
We'll see
A lot.
a lot, yeah. We will see you then on Tuesday and then on Friday. Until then, come to the Discord, say hi. Good night, everyone.
Bye, everyone.
Good night.